welcome to From Market to Table. Today with me we have Kathy Willis, and Seafood Sam McGargy is going to be on with us too. We're going to do some fun fall things. And Kathy, you're going to start us off with a pumpkin pie pudding?
Yes, yes. So this is a very easy recipe that has basically 4 ingredients. What we need to do is get a package of a 5.1 ounce package of vanilla instant pudding. So let's put this in the bowl. And then it's going to take a 12 ounce can of evaporated milk. And you always want to make sure you shake it really good to get it all mixed up before you open it. So we're going to add the milk. And then we're going to whip this up till it's all mixed. Then after this is mixed really nice, what we really want to do is put it in the fridge for 5 minutes. But you can see it actually, it mixes up very easy with that instant pudding. And if you don't have the big one, you can use 2 small packages. Now what we're going to pretend, lots of pretending, we're going to pretend that this has been refrigerated for 5 minutes. And then to this, we're going to add 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin. This is going to be 100% pure pumpkin, not pumpkin pie mix. So we'll get that added in here.
There's something to talk about pumpkin is it's exploded in popularity.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's using it, and what's happened is every fall then there becomes a shortage in pumpkin. So it's a good idea if you're planning on making recipes with pumpkin, buy it early in the season just in case. I think the industry's starting to catch up to the trend, but every year it seems like they are worried they're going to run out.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Okay, and then what we're going to add is, here's where the pumpkin pie spice comes from. We're going to add a teaspoon of this. I knew I was go over. So with all that in the bowl, we'll do that. And then this just mixed up really nice. You can see that pudding is already starting to set. Very easy to do. Kids can certainly help. The other thing, when I was doing this, I was thinking, boy, what a nice thing to have like around Halloween. And one of the ways, you know, we can plate this up or put it up is in cups with some whipped cream on it for the kids. Or for, you know, dinner after meals or whatever. So now if this goes in the refrigerator, but if you want to, you can actually get it set up in your dessert dishes, or, as I said, we can do smaller cups and fix it up in here with, and then put the whipped cream on top. So for the kids, this makes a really nice, easy, quick dessert. And then what we can do is just dress them up a little bit. Uh-oh.
I think I have another.
I broke it.
You got to back up.
Yeah, always. We'll just get those all ready for the kids. And because it's getting to be Halloween, we can actually put nice little decorations on all the dishes.
That looks great. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Great Halloween time dish. All right, next up, Sam, you're going to show us how to make a shrimp scampi.
Scampi, yes, sir. Got the good stuff here. So first, we want to get our pan pretty hot. We're going to throw a little bit of butter in here, about a tablespoon of butter. So first, we'll let this get going in here. We're going to let this melt, and once this melting, we're going to get our shrimp. We want to make sure our shrimp here is pretty dry. So we got our shrimp. We're going to pat it down with a paper towel. You don't want it too wet because, I don't know, that's why. We got a pretty big shrimp here. I like the easy peel shrimp. It's easy to get to. Like 16, 20 count shrimp's my favorite. It's pretty big. It's not too big though. Most are 16, 20. This is like an Arctic Shore brand. You can find it in the seafood department. It's awesome. Probably one of the biggest sellers. But we also got some other shrimps. I mean, if you want bigger shrimp, you can go bigger shrimp, smaller. It all depends on what you're looking for. So we got our butter melting here. We're going to let this shrimp dry off. It's pretty good. You want your butter to be completely melted and the pan to be super hot because you're going to sear it for like 1 to 2 minutes each. Then you're going to flip it over and do it again on the other side. So let's get this melted here. And this is real simple to do at home. I mean, about 1 pound of shrimp makes about 4 servings, so a family of 4, a real piece of cake dinner. Take you about 10 minutes after you peel it. The easy peel shrimp, real quick and easy.
Yeah, and it's something you see in a restaurant a lot, but you don't see people doing it at home. So
right, and it's real simple to do at home. It's real easy.
You find Sam, he's a manager of a seafood department, but he also is a cook in one of the kitchens of one of your favorite restaurants. So
right.
He's done it all.
All right, so we got our butter melted here. Now when you take your shrimp, you kind of just want to drop it right in there. So we're going to just take this plate, we're going to drop our shrimp in there, and we're going to let it just sear up here. Kind of move your shrimps around. You don't want them laying on the top of each other. You want them all to cook evenly. We're just going to let them sear here for about a minute or two. And as you can see, they're in here already. The tails are turning pink. Like that's what you want. You want your shrimps to turn pink, kind of a little white. That's what we're looking for. But we're going to let this sear here for about a minute, 2 minutes on each side.
Would you like me to get started?
Yeah, you can go ahead and get started while this is going.
While we're letting Sam shrimp cook, I'm going to show you how to make a classic basil pesto. And we're going to start out by putting 4 cups of fresh basil into our blender. And then 4 cloves of minced garlic. You can buy the pre-minced or you can get the fresh. I prefer the fresh a little bit. And then we're going to chop that up until it's fine. You could use a food processor or a blender for this. Okay, we've got that chopped up nice and fine now. Now we're going to add a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. I buy the fresh Parmesan and grate it myself, but you could buy a pre-grated. I would recommend a fresh, not the Kraft off the shelf. And we're going to add 2/3 a cup of pine nuts. You could substitute walnuts if you like, but I like the flavor of the pine nuts. And we're going to blend that up. We're going to keep going until we get this into a paste. Okay, looks like I have everything chopped up into a nice consistency. And now we're going to slowly pour some olive oil. If you need to jump in anytime.
Yeah, I'm about to hit this. So we've cooked this for a couple minutes on each side. As you can see, we got a good color to it. That's kind of what you want on both sides. The shrimp's turned pink. That's right where we want it. Now you don't want to overdo it, but like I said, we've got both sides here looking pretty good. We're all about the same. This is when we're going to jump in here. We're going to add our wine and garlic, and we're going to shut the heat off, let it simmer for a second, and then you're good to go. So we're just going to go ahead here. And the wine kind of just deglazes the pan a little bit, takes all the stuff off the bottom, and gets into the shrimp. So we're going to just take this, we're going to add this, and that's about a 1/4 cup of wine there. That's about what you want. And then we got about a teaspoon of garlic. We're just throw that in there. We're going to shut that off. We're just going to let this sear here, kind of for a second, let it cool off, get the garlic all over the place. It's hard to beat right there for a dinner.
That's pretty easy.
It's hard to beat. Real simple. And you can get easy shrimp to do too, like 16, 20, just easy peel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It only takes 10 minutes to peel.
Sure. Yeah.
Dinner for 4, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, we got that right there. We're gonna let that cool off. And we got our little tray over here. So we're gonna take this out, pour these jokers in the tray. And I mean, if you really want to, we got a lemon here. So when we take the lemon, I like to roll the lemon a little bit. It lets out the zest, kind of infuses the lemon a little bit. We're just gonna cut this puppy. And we're gonna squirt some lemon. I mean, lemon to taste. So it doesn't matter. I kind of hold my hand over it so you ain't getting no seeds in there. Bang. Just the lemon adds a little zest. If you really want to, you can throw some parsley on there. It adds some color. I mean, it looks good, but it's real simple. Real easy to eat.
Looks great, Sam. Can't wait to try it. So next we're going to be adding between a 1/2 and a cup of olive oil, probably closer to the 1/2, depends on the consistency that you like.
That color is so pretty when it gets.
It looks good, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, I think we have enough oil in there. It looks like a good consistency. And everything's nice and blended together, as you can see. And you can use pesto in so many different ways. You can put it on pasta or rice, spread it on meat or fish, but today we're going to use it with a tomato mozzarella. So first we're going to start out, and I've cut a tomato up into about 1/4 inch slices. And then I have my mozzarella. And then we're going to take our pesto. And put a dollop of it onto here. And just to talk about basil a little bit, it's very considered one of the most nutritious herbs, so it's excellent for you to use. You may grow it in your garden. It grows real easy, and it grows very abundantly.
Right.
So that's what we do. It's high in vitamin A, C, potassium, magnesium, and iron. So definitely a good choice for health. And actually, whenever I learned you were making that today, I thought this is
would go
perfect
great.
with
It's
that.
It's a good dipper for that too. I mean, you can really put it with anything.
I'll dress that up a little bit with it too. While I'm doing that, Kathy, if you want to go ahead and get started on your last item, which I'm excited to see, a pumpkin pie cake.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Well, I decided, you know, there's so many people that, you know, get overwhelmed with thinking about making a homemade pie and the crust and, you know, doing all of that. And so I thought this pumpkin pie cake is actually a very easy and very delicious cake. So what we're going to do to start, there's like 3 steps basically. You want to take a yellow cake mix, and I'm just going to put all of it in the bowl. So this is just that dry cake mix. And then what I need for my topping is actually a cup of this cake mix. So my no-line jars or measuring cups. All right, so then we have this. Now to this, what we're going to add is some margarine. And then we're going to mix it together. And with this, I usually like to sort of cut it in chunks so we can get it all distributed out in there. So we want to mix, I like to mix this first with the dry cake mix, and then at the very last, we'll add the 1 egg. So these are the 3 ingredients that are for the base, the crust of this pumpkin pie cake.
Kathy, if I could interrupt for just 1 second.
Sure.
You can also add salt and pepper to this to taste and to your tomato mozzarella salad, which I did while you were doing
I thought you were going to save it and top it.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Yeah,
Thank
it gives a
you.
good color. It really does.
Yeah,
It really does.
I love the pepper on it that way.
Yes.
All right, I think most of this margarine is getting mixed in there. So then what I want to do is mix in 1 egg. I mean, I still like this sort of crumbly. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press it into a 9x13 pan. Now, while we're starting to do all this, one of the things that we want is have your oven at 350, you know, warming up, so to be ready when it's time to put it in. All right, so you can see how it's still be a little bit crumbly. And with this type of mixture, you really don't have to grease your pan because it's got all the margarine in the bottom, so it's like doing a cookie crust or whatever. So I'm just going to put all this in here. Now, depending on how moist it is, or sometimes it's sort of hard to get it all spread out to an even, and I don't want you to get frustrated, and I was frustrated this morning when I was doing it. So one of the things that I found that really works is and I don't know where I put it. Oh, here it is. I just have a scraper that I actually put some spray on it, and this seemed to help get it in the places it's supposed to go. Because I'll tell you, when I was trying to do it with my hands, it just doesn't stick down. I was getting very frustrated. So, or, you know, another thing that would work really well is if you have wax paper and spray that, then you can sort of set it in there and, you know, spread the whole thing. But if there's still pieces of butter in it, like I have here, it's going to stick to your hands. But that's actually pretty good and didn't take that long to spread it out, even though I got some up on my hands. And once you get it pretty much all done, don't play. That's the one thing, because I learned that the hard way. Okay, so that's pretty well covers the whole bottom of that pan. So I'm just going to set this here for right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make the filling. And the filling, we're going to take, we're going to start with 1 large can of pumpkin. 100% pure pumpkin, and that's the 29-ounce can. And you know, this bowl's pretty well cleaned out, so I'm just going to use the same bowl. You don't have to go ahead and, you know, use lots and lots of dishes. So let me go ahead and put this in here. And this one also was so easy to mix up. You know, when you think about pumpkin pie, and you know, pumpkin pie sets up really nice. So even though this looks like it's going to be really pretty liquidy, it sets up beautifully after you bake it. All right, so what we're going to do is do pumpkin, and now we're going to add 3 eggs. It's easier to add the eggs obviously now into the pumpkin and get it mixed up in there than when you have the evaporated milk in there.
Okay.
And no shells. All right. So I sort of get the eggs mixed up a little bit, and then we'll get them all incorporated into the pumpkin. All right. Now to this, we are going to add 2/3 of a cup of evaporated milk. Now I have some poured out, and that's my 2/3. But also, if you're only making one and you want to pick up a small can, which is 5 ounces, that's the 2/3 of a cup. So you can just get one of these, or the large can, you can make two cakes, because that has 2 of these. So we mix that in. And we'll start to get it a little bit mixed here. Now to this, we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. There we go. And we're going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now we'll just go ahead and mix all this together. And this now becomes our filling to put on top of the crust that we made and pressed in the pan. And like I said, you know, these recipes are wonderful. If the kids want to help, they can do all the stirring and
Absolutely, and that makes them be a part of it, and they're really going to want to taste it then.
right, they're going to want to eat it. All right, so we'll get our crust back. And then we're just going to pour this over. All right, just sort of spread it out to the ends. So this is our filling, and now you remember we saved that 1 cup of dry pie filling, or pie mix. The cake mix, the yellow cake mix. So we're going to take that 1 cup, and to that we're going to add a 1/2 cup of sugar and a 1/4 cup of margarine. Now you want the margarines to room temperature and pretty soft, just so they'll mix in really nice. And I just want to break this up a little bit. Now this is there's no egg that's going in this part, but this actually mixes up really nice to crumble. And I at first thought, boy, a 1/2 cup or a cup of that topping doesn't seem like it's going to be enough to cover the cake, but actually it works really well. You can also do this with your beater. Might go a little faster, or you can just use your hands once the butter's in there and get it incorporated all into the sugar and the cake mix. All right, that looks pretty good. So then what we want to do is we're just going to sprinkle this over the filling. And actually this really, depending on your oven at 350, it browns up really nice. Now, when the recipe that I saw a couple of them, and they do at least an hour in the oven. Our ovens here are hotter, so I did not do a full hour, but I did about 55 minutes, so it was pretty close, but the ovens are pretty hot. So now, once we have this, if you have a cup of chopped pecans, you can just sprinkle them over the top. Now, if you have, some in your family don't like them, if you just sprinkle half the cake, there's nothing in the lower part of the cake, so you can have a pecan side and a plain side.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So this goes in the oven for, like I said, for an hour, about an hour, and you'll see when it comes out, it looks sort of nice and firm and a nice dark color.
I've got them back here.
Yeah. I suppose I can show you here. This is the first pan, and it looks like we ate a lot, but I actually plated it all up. But I wanted to show you, you get that nice coloring on the top.
Right, right.
And it truly tastes like pumpkin pie.
That looks great.
And one of the suggestions that I had from people in the kitchen was a little dollop of Cool Whip or something on top of this to just dress it up some. But so for mine, what we have here is our pumpkin pie pudding. And again, if you want to do the cups for the kids. And then we have pumpkin pie cake.
Excellent. You learned how to make shrimp scampi, which I'm excited to try.
Real easy, real simple dinner for anybody, any family. It's real quick, easy to make.
Excellent. Got a classic basil pesto over a tomato mozzarella salad, and I think that's all for this time.
That looks great, yeah.
So until next time, I'll see you at the market.